Let's get ready to rumble!
James Kirkland. We enjoy James Kirkland because he's nicknamed himself the Mandingo Warrior. He set a template for his boxing to be vicious, to be absolutely vicious, to fight until you're victorious or he goes out on his shield or on his back. You know what I mean? One of the two. There's no other way. Oh, points decisions. What are you talking about? Points. You know? And we love him for that. We love him for that. You know? Some people were saying Canelo will be the remedy for the events that happened 7 days beforehand. The most financially lucrative fight in the history of the sport. They said this is the remedy for that hangover. Now, that's opinions. People have various opinions. And Kirkland came out. He walked onto jabs. He walked onto straight rights, right crosses, uppercuts. And when it seemed common sense to most of us who know a little bit about boxing, you're going to run into that same punch again. He kept doing it. He kept doing it. And we critiqued him for that. We critiqued, oh man, you got no defense. You got no defense. But the thing is, this is the same thing that we was commending him and celebrating his role in the game for. It's not like we didn't know he wasn't going to do what he did. We knew what Kirkland was going to do. We knew it. We all knew what he was going to do. We knew Kirkland wasn't going to come out there like Pernell Whitaker. We all knew this. He wasn't going to try and imitate Floyd. We knew Kirkland was going to come out reckless. Yeah? Hard. He's going to come out hard. He's going to get up in Canelo's chest. He was going to push him to the ropes. He's going to keep working. He's going to work. And try and buckle the young Mexican. That's what he was going to try and do. We knew this. And it's just human nature. Human nature is very hindsight-ish. We are very a hindsight-led group of people, you know. All of a sudden we're talking about Kirkland's lack of defense. No one was talking about his lack of defense after the Tapia fight or after the Angulo fight. No, we weren't. We was saying, man, look at the resilience. Look how he came back from them punches. He took all them punches and came back and won. We were celebrating his lack of defense. Inadvertently. We didn't say that, but that's what we was doing. Inadvertently, we were celebrating his lack. In fact, let me change that. We was in acceptance of his lack of defense. It was endearing. It was his personal character type that he brought to the game. But in his worst hour, when his style gets ruthlessly exposed, like any other style can get exposed, even if you're a defensive wizard, you know what I mean? Somebody can find an antidote and trip you up. But on his worst day, this is what I'm talking about. On his worst day, we start pointing out all the obvious flaws. He's got no defense. He's reckless. He just walks onto punches. Takes too much chances. Isn't that what we loved him for? And now you got smart Alex like me and a few others. Kirkland, you need to hang him up, bro. You need to retire. You're taking too much punches. There was cries. Kirkland needs to retire. A few minutes ago, you were screaming deliriously for the excitement, the sheer adrenaline rush. Can he overwhelm Canelo? Can Canelo withstand this? Does he know how to defend this type of attack? You can say what you like. You can say what you like about the pure boxer. There's something that a slugfest does that just connects to an innate predatory switch in the alpha male. We all have our preferences. Lamont Peterson in the later stages of the Danny Garcia fight, he repped the pure boxer beautifully. He did. Left it a little late in my opinion. Even fight, could have went either way, but we all have our preferences. Kirkland served our purposes, and now the same reasons that made him an attraction are the same reasons we want to discard him. Let's face it, none of the major networks wants Terry Norris or Meldrick Taylor or Magomed Abdulsalamov to come on the broadcast slurring, visibly impaired from their ring efforts. This is not a ringing advertisement. It's not a ringing advertisement. And a lot of times I think a lot of you guys are uncomfortable looking at some of the combatants you're uncomfortable with it. It's the side of the game that you know is there, but you want it to be hidden. You want that to be hidden. I noticed something in British boxing. Spencer Oliver, he got hurt by a European import really badly. It was a bad KO, and he was rushed into hospital. It was touch and go, severe head injury. He made a full recovery. Rod Douglas, back in the 80s, good amateur. Actually beat Nigel Benn as an amateur. I think Ben beat him too. Good amateur. Turned pro. Everything going well, just like Spencer Oliver, one of our top prospects. Fights Errol Graham, gets unraveled, pushed him in there too early. Errol Graham, not known for concussive hitting. And even the stoppage was more a case of Errol outclassing him more than concussively blowing him out of there. Rod, touch and go again, severe hemorrhaging, head injuries, made a full recovery. I noticed that they did bring Rod back on BBC One to do commentary work. And Spencer Oliver, he's a regular pundit on Sky. And I'm not being callous, but the fact is that they did make a full recovery. It's easier for the execs, the pundits, the commentators to deal with. Yeah, look, he made a full recovery. Isn't that brilliant? You know? Why didn't they bring Paul Ingle on there? Why didn't they bring Mildred Taylor on a broadcast? Or Terry Norris? Why not? We know why. We know why. We know why. Now, I think Michael Watson may have done some commentary work at some stage, but he was such a high-profile case, you couldn't really keep him out of the limelight. And if he did, it was only once or twice, you know. But generally, no, they're not going to bring the damaged robots back in to show the general public or the watching public what the sport can potentially do to you. Of course they're not. We want to sweep them under the rug. Retire, man. Just retire and, you know, hold it down. Don't say anything. Just you know, disappear somewhere.
Kirkland obviously isn't covering or holding up. He wants to fight back, and he's getting countered at every turn.
I heard the slurred speech. I heard it, and I saw the body go limp after the knockdown. And even me with my hardline, adamant theory. Oh, yeah, I don't believe in telling boxers to retire. What did I say? But no, I still hold down my stance. No, I won't commit to retiring boxers. I won't do that. I mean, because I think then you endanger the nature of the sport. I think if you try to take boxing out from what it is, then you might as well just pull the plug on it. You might as well just pull the plug on it. You know, the beauty of life is lost on most of us. We make things so complicated. There's a reason why Arum studied law. There's a reason why he's been around since the 60s. And Don King, there's a reason why they stayed on that side of the ropes. And that's so they can lessen their chances of having the gladiators tell the highs, the lows. And for a lot of them, I'm not going to say most because I don't have the stats, but a lot of them, you know, it ends badly. We can't change that. Busted eyes, bad eyesight, neurological, financial, spiritually broken, fighting past their prime, in some ways looking a little pathetic doing it. If you take all that away, boxing's dead. I know you'd like to take it away, but it's dead. It's dead. They've tried all types of reforms. You've tried to advise fighters to do this and that, Muhammad Ali Act, and none of it's never going to work. It's never going to work. We can admire the gladiator, but when we try to overprotect him, then he ceases to be a gladiator. The gladiator story, despite how much we admire him, is not necessarily supposed to be a tranquil, happy ever after one. The day when boxers get too calculated and start weighing things up really rationally, the sport's finished. As soon as the boxer says, man, I'm going to be 30 next month, I'm getting out. As soon as that happens, boxing's fucked. When the promoters say, sign the contract here, and the boxer says, no, I want to go over it with a fine tooth comb. I'm prepared to iron out every last detail for months before I sign. Dead. Dead. Finished. Yeah? As soon as boxers start thinking, man, I need to get this high interest account or invest in these bonds. And when a large percentage of boxers start thinking like this, boxing's finished. When all boxers tried to box like Floyd and Rigondeaux, boxing is finished. The promoters would jump ship. I'm not sure if it would really be finished. I think it would just go a different route or route. It would just go a totally different route. And I don't think the consumer at first would be able to deal with that kind of boxer talking like that. I don't think you'd be able to deal with it. You know, we say we love boxers, but we love boxers because they don't question. They fight. They don't rationalize certain things. They just go in the ring and want to fight. And I actually believe a lot of fighters are becoming like all them things I just said. I think a lot of them are. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has become hated because he prides himself on not taking punishment. He prides himself that, no, he's not just fighting on the promotion. The promotion is partly his. We don't like it. We don't like it. Because whether indirectly or on some subliminal, we believe that attitude means he's not committed to entertaining us. Simple as that. Carl Froch, in recent months, has come in for the most negative reactions worldwide from boxing fans in the recent few months. And then when I saw his documentary on ITV, when I asked him, do you kind of have any reservations about boxing? And he said, yeah, when I look at my children, I start thinking about all the risks I'm taking. That's what he said. And when he said that, it clicked in why he's been acting how he's been acting. It clicked in. Protecting the gladiator from himself just impairs the sport. It's finished. It's finished. When he decides he doesn't want to hurt no more, not us, when he decides, then unless, he can't pass medicals or his eyes are really too bad, and even then they'll just go to states who will pass them. That's what boxers do. You can't let them do what they do. If you spend, I haven't got a number, but if you spend, there probably is a certain number, but I don't have it. If you spend a certain amount of hours a week, like most of you do, I know you do, watching fights, looking out for who's new, checking out the developments of the game, it's kind of like what Bill Shankly said. I think he said football is not a matter of life or death. It's way more important than that. I think he said something like that. And I'm not. So let's not go to that extreme. But I won't go to that extreme. But I will say you can't no longer say that it's just it's just a sport. It's not just a sport. You're lending too much time to something not to learn from it. It's no more than theatre, real life theatre. And a lot of theatre is there to entertain you, but it's also there to give you life lessons. And I can tell a lot about certain boxers without studying their sparring sessions, their resume, or anything. As soon as Odlanier Solis told all of us on the video, doesn't really care about boxing. I got no time for boxing. I don't watch boxing outside. I don't talk about boxing outside boxing. I said, oh man, you know something? I should have went to the betting shop when he was fighting Vitaly Klitschko. I should have done, because I knew he was going to lose. I knew he was going to lose. And that's why it's a little unfair on Floyd. I'm not going to make this a Floyd video because there was a stage where Floyd ate, drank, consumed boxing 24/7. He said he's falling out of love with it now, but he's right at the tail end of his career. So it's understandable, but this is a man who was definitely dedicated to his craft and was watching boxing, studying tapes, maybe not for selected opponents, but he was definitely dedicated to his craft. Being from the Midwest, he would have known all about Thomas Hearns, Sugar Ray Robinson, and all the other greats from that region. James Toney. He would have been well blooded in with the historical impact of where he wants to end up as an ATG. Don't come and tell me that you're a boxer and you say, well, nah, I don't really care about watching tapes, or if I bring up history or something, I don't want to hear all that shit there. Don't get me wrong, it's not a prerequisite that you have to have a great love for it. I'm sure there has been some great fighters who didn't care for it that much, but I guarantee you, But I guarantee you, if I generalize, most fighters with that attitude are going nowhere. You're going nowhere. Mike Tyson used to religiously watch all them old tapes of O.E. Moran, British fighters with the reels and shit. He did. That's what he used to do. When Tyson was watching Jack Dempsey, it was fueling him. It was fueling his passion for the sport.
What you're saying, Mike, is that you regard Jack Dempsey as one of the really great old generals.
Oh man, I'm crazy about Jack Dempsey because of his ferocious intensity. You know, there's no one like him. No one like him.
Do you see anything in your own fighting that compares with Dempsey?
It would be a privilege, you know, like everyone compare me to him, but I know deep inside that there's no one like Jack Dempsey.
He's only 5'10". Don't listen to the thing. Tyson's about 5'11". Tyson's about 5'10", 5'11". Small guy. I remember one of my friends who wasn't a big boxing fan. He kept asking me, how's this little guy knocking out them big guys like that? How does it work? I said, speed and timing, I guess. And he couldn't understand it. And what it was Jim Jacobs giving him them films and Cus D'Amato filling his head about the old school, and telling him how he is in lineage of them old-time greats and, you know what I mean, just fortifying that in him. And he just became a beast in the ring. He became a beast. Anything you do in life, man, you gotta have a passion for it, man. I don't think James Kirkland is gonna retire. I don't think he is. If he can clear the medicals, I don't think he is gonna retire. I don't know when we'll see him back because he takes long periods out. But at the same time, do we want him to come back if he's gonna compromise? Do you really want to see Kirkland coming back, trying to fight a real defensive fight? I don't know. Is that what we want to see? As painful as it might be to watch for Kirkland fans, or maybe just boxing fans in general, we have to reserve a place for boxers like James Kirkland. We just have to. He's raw. He's unpredictable. He's the guy who will write off and then one prospect, cocky little flash, brash talking motherfucker, running his mouth non-stop. You know what I mean? He's going to go in the ring with Kirkland, and Kirkland's going to mop him up and take him to school. He's going to take him through the forest. Once again, we'll be ringside or at home, roaring it on hard, cheering to the rafters, as they say. And we'll be saying, this is why we love Kirkland. This is why we love Kirkland. When it goes bad, all the faults come crashing home. No defense. Terrible footwork, man. Where's the jab? Human nature. This isn't having a go at us, it's human nature. That's how we're programmed to respond to boxing. That's just how it is. Combat sports is just a different ball game. Like, I don't think other sports, non-combat sports or non-boxing sports, are as conflicted with their sport as ours. Just for the simple reason, if you take Zab Judah, for instance, remember when he outclassed Vernon Paris? And, you know, we was wondering if Zab could beat Vernon. 'Cause I think Vernon was undefeated, young, brash, flashy, and he outclassed him. And then when we see Zab against Amir Khan, I don't know what fight was before or after, it's just kind of like, Zab, man. And then the Paulie fight, and you're thinking, Zab, you know? And then it's just a myriad of different emotions of how you feel about the fighter in different fights. I mean, in the Garcia fight, you're thinking, damn, Zab pushed him hard, and, you know, maybe he's got something left in the tank. Then you watch him against Khan and Paulie, and you're thinking, damn, Zab, this ain't looking good. You know what I mean? And if you're watching NFL or Premier League or NBA, it doesn't matter how bad Tottenham are playing, or the Bulls or the Lakers or the Patriots. It don't matter how bad they're playing. There's no way you're going to say, well, man, you guys might as well just quit. Just fold up the football team. That never happens. Even if they get whitewashed by the highest possible score, you know, we expect to see them back out next week. Boxing is way more of an emotional mindfuck. There was one amateur boxer who used to post up on Facebook a lot, and he doesn't post anymore. The last few posts were absolutely an eye-opener. Physical ailments. He was moaning. He used to post up about his physical ailments, how he couldn't function properly, head traumas and just all types of things from boxing. He was depressed. Man talking about he's struggling to raise or be the dad that he wants to be to his son. Man was talking about he feels like he's near the end. I don't see him post up anymore. And it's like, wow. Whew. It's tough, man. Man, I don't even know. There's nothing to try and conclude and come together with one unified thought. But what's your feelings? Do you think boxers need to be saved from themselves and forced to retire? Do you think it's unfair to do that? If they've chose to do it, they should be able to die a gladiator. Do you think they should modify the sport in some way? The BMA or one of them do-good organizations were trying to take out head punches and just make it body punches. Bigger gloves, I don't know. Or do you think just leave it as it is? It is what it is. Is there any way you can maintain the sport's attraction, but at the same time make some reforms to make it better for the boxer financially and health-wise? Can that be done? Is that possible? I want you to either justify boxing's existence or tell me why it ain't acceptable. I don't want to do a mailbag on this one.